So as you can see, my name is David Wilson from the first slide, and I decided to do a go-kart stroller type project. I just thought it would be a fun project to work on. I used the colors of the Toy Story RC car. If you recognize them, they're pretty funny. But it was a fun project to work on. A couple things that I did, I made the steering work, so I had to do some steering components. Um, a lot of different mates had to set up. I did gripped handlebars, um, kind of a cool, like Star Wars-ish looking steering wheel. Um, Pretty cool project. I learned quite a bit on it, and we'll go through what tools I used to make this. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to show you is the sheet metal feature that I used on my project. I used it on the spoiler and the seat. As you can see, the spoiler is a little bit more simple, just a couple bends in it. I folded the edges so they wouldn't be sharp. And then also the seat, so same basic concept, working on the base flange and then edge flanges on top of that. So they seem to turn out really nicely. Kind of an interesting feature to use. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I made my seat using the sheet metal feature. So you start with a base flange, and you just need a line like this. How you want, I just did my overall profile that I would like, and then you set the length or the width that you want, and you can change the thickness to certain lengths. The other thing that you can do is build the edge flanges. So this is how you build the edge flanges. You set the edges, and then you set the angle you want them at, and then how you want the edges to meet. And then I also did a hem edge, and this was just around the edges so they're not just sharp. You just click the edge on these ones, pretty simple. Set how you want it to look, so you can do different kinds of rounds. You can do all the way around, kind of a teardrop, an open, or a closed. And then one last thing that you can do that I'm going to show you is up here in your sheet metal tabs, you can flatten it out, and this is what it would look like on a flat sheet on a single plane. For my project, I used the Weldments feature, Weldments tool, for building the frame of my go-kart. As you can see, it's kind of the biggest component on my go-kart is the frame. Pretty interesting tool to use and kind of get used to. It's a little different building than what we've been doing in class because you're basically just sketching with a single line, and then that line turns into what you want it to be. I'll show you my frame. So this is what my frame looks like, and this will show up as all different solid bodies on here. So it took me a while to kind of get used to it. This is what my 3D sketch looked like. You don't have to do it in a 3D sketch, but for me it was easier to do it as a 3D sketch when working on it. It's a pretty interesting feature. One more thing that I would like to show you that I learned with the Weldments feature is how you trim pieces that intersect. Since they are all different solid bodies, you need to do treatments here where they intersect, and that is done up here, trim extend. And so if you want a piece where you don't, like this cross piece right here, I did not want it to be trimmed according to this vertical piece. So you click which piece you want trimmed. So in this case, I would click this one, and then trimming boundary, I would want this piece to set my trimming boundary. So then when I hit OK, it will automatically apply the boundary to the piece that I want trimmed. So it makes it really handy when setting which pieces you want trimmed and which pieces you don't. So this would eliminate a lot of work for someone and make it a lot stronger if you have a solid frame out of more whole pieces. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to show you guys is an exploded view so you guys can see how the project went together. So pretty cool. See how many pieces, how many pins I had. That's one thing I did not anticipate was how many pins there was going to be. But overall, it was a really fun project.